Hi, welcome to Cherie's weight loss journey. Oh my God, this is like round 2 of yesterday. This morning it was cloudy, it started raining, and now it is sunshiny and muggy and hot. So, of course, we're out here getting ready to go take another ride. Ride in the air conditioning. For sure. Okay. It's 5 o'clock. Temperature gauge says 86 degrees. Yeah, hold on. Okay. So, yeah, it feels good in the air conditioning. Sometimes it just gets to be a little bit too hot, and I'm like, well, shit, if it's gonna be that hot, I might as well go outside and be hot. At least I'll be entertained. Okay. Besides that, the car's all charged up. Why not? I have been contemplating the idea of oh yeah, this here is like a little body cooler. Somehow or another it stays within a cooler temperature than your body. Therefore, if you put it on your neck, you won't feel as hot, right? I used to have one of those Arctic fans. I probably still have it, just don't know where it's at. But they didn't allow me to wear it to work, so I probably put it down somewhere. Okay. I usually don't like coming out at 5 o'clock because 5 o'clock is rush hour. It definitely is rush hour. And I don't like rush hour traffic. I don't like rush hour attitudes. Yeah. The congestion is just horrendous. I am hoping to be able to take some back streets and avoid, the traffic. I didn't bring my tennis shoes. I did not. So, oh my God, look at them. Look, hold up. Did y'all see the military helicopters? 2 of them. Military helicopters. Okay? What does that mean? I don't know. Could mean a lot. 2 of them. They're transporting something. Not sure what they're transporting. So yeah, I did my lightweight exercises today. Did I have a protein shake? No, I did not have a protein shake today. Today I made a meal. We'll call it breakfast. I had shrimp and eggs and chicken bits with grits. Of course, I added some cheese. Yes, it was delicious. I'm pretty sure that I had a good, 30, 40-ish, grams of protein, all combined. I'm almost getting to the point where I can kind of tell, if I'm hitting like the 30 or 40 grams of protein by, my hunger being satiated. Yeah, by my hunger being satiated. So it was delicious. It was delicious. And I did not need to, I didn't need to eat afterwards. I'm still full off of what I ate. I do plan to have another serving later on. And at some point, drink a protein shake. Just so that I know that I've gotten all of the vitamins, that I don't necessarily get in the food that I eat. Now, I did add some spinach. To my shrimp and egg and grits concoction. It was delicious. I added some sweet orange pepper. It was, delicious, right? Trying to be conscientious of making sure I'm eating nutrients. Okay? Especially if I don't have a shake. I used up the last of my collagen, and I did, inspect the fiber that I bought. The fiber that I bought, it does look soluble. The only thing I don't like about this fiber is it does darken my beverage. So I'm going to have to get around that, at least mentally, because, it kind of makes it look like, you're drinking dirty water. Yeah. But on my list of things to buy, I am going to have to buy some more collagen. At first, I'm like, what is this? Do we really need it? And I would say, yes, creatine and the collagen has a subtle way of, bringing back, the cartilage and the elasticity in, especially when, you're getting older. Monday. It's Monday after a holiday, and there's a lot of people who, probably extended their vacation time since Friday was a holiday, right? I mean, yeah, who wouldn't? If you can, if you can, turn what would have been a 3-day weekend into a 5-day weekend, who wouldn't do that? Okay? Damn. Windsor Homes from the 400,000s to 1 million. I can't even tell you how, I never thought America, would get to the point that inflation would get us to the point where we have to be mathematicians just to do commerce, right? Because, the older countries, they've already been doing that, right? They've been counting their money, and they've been in the thousands, the millions, for a long time. And, but, now, America is following suit. Okay? Yeah, temperature gauge says 89 degrees. That's hot. I can honestly say that our temperature is at least 1 to 2 degrees lower than it was last year, because we were well into like the 90s for a good 65 days straight. All right. So many of us, like myself, are feeling blessed. At least we're not, that way. The last few days, we've had bouts of rain, overcast, and then, we get blasted with the sun. Necessarily need to replenish my collagen like ASAP. Right? I have been thinking about the tent that I've seen where it had an enclosure on the outside, because I'm thinking, okay, I could be in the tent, my dog could be on the enclosed, part with the mesh, and that will be like a porch. Because I'm really not going to be sleeping out in the elements, period. I'm just not. I would curl up in the back seat of my car before I would sleep out in the elements in a tent. Now, I have seen some awesome inflatable tents that I was like, what is that? And yeah. But of course, they're about $500. $500. And that's not something that I would be looking into, you know. I'm thinking about applying for a fast food restaurant job, part-time, of course. It's not beneath me. Do I think I could do it? Yeah, I think I could do it part-time. Do I want to do it? No, I don't want to do it. But, you know, it's just coming down to the point where I have to make that decision, you know, to swallow my pride. You know, and just basically say, you know, in my head, the same thing that I did when I would, you know, DoorDash or Uber, you know, that this is an act of service, you know, because I feel like, you know, I'm more qualified for something else, and I'm doing this work, you know, it is an act of service. You know, I thought about, you know, learning a quick trade or something like that, but I just don't know of any trade that I would want to do. You know. You know, one of those quick trades that you can get into. At one time, I thought maybe I would want to, you know, be a truck driver. I thought about it. You know, up until, you know, the economy got really bad, and yeah, you know, yeah. It is typical. It's a non-traditional job for women. So you're going to face that adversity. Then with a bad economy, you're going to face a higher risk of people wanting to steal the merchandise from you. And, you know, it's, you know, that's something that, you know, some of us, you know, will take on that challenge. And then, you know, some of us won't. Some of us will take on those type of non-traditional jobs for even just a little while. You know. But I think, my patience with traffic is, it doesn't match up with me being, a truck driver. When I was younger and I liked being out and about, it didn't matter if there was traffic, yeah. But at my grown-up age, it just doesn't, it's not floating my boat. Thought about doing, that quick, CNN, training, and then being a certified nurse's aide. And I'm like, no. You can also do one of those quick programs and become a pharmacist, assistant, and I was like, do I want to make that kind of investment, to learn something? And because here's the thing, it's very hard to even really be considered for a job with extensive training, with degrees, with experience, when you're over the age of 50. And every year, the odds become more and more against you that you would get hired. Okay? So, there always seems to be some type of barrier here or there, or something or another. There's another big, beautiful church. They have them a little Christian academy for the little ones. So, the one thing that a lot of people really just don't accept is the fact that we are spiritual beings, right? Having a human experience, and that every one of us needs to understand that our spirit, needs needs food. Yeah, our spirit needs food. Partial shaded spot. Take it. This is nice. In the shade. It's 90 degrees outside. I don't want to get out there. I don't. Snoopy wants to get out there. At least she thinks she does. But that's because she's in the cool air conditioning of the car. She thinks it's gonna be nice outside, and I could probably just walk her down 100 feet, come back, and she'll be totally happy. Totally happy. There's quite a few people, getting off work, I suppose, and going to the gym, the recreational center. That's nice, because it's definitely air conditioning in there. That's one of the good things about, going someplace that's air conditioned, like a gym. It's, you can still do your routine, right? But I'm just happy, just to get out. Just to get out. I really am. I'm happy just to get out. I could try to do some Uber or a DoorDash, but it's too hot. I got on slippers, and no. That's why I don't want to walk either, because I ain't got on, I got on my slippers. So Snoopy was whining and telling me I wasn't saying the truth, that she was gonna walk. And I was like, okay, well, I did put on some bug spray. So we'll see. But she's already starting to slow down. Listen to the noise. Can you hear it? Okay. We're going to start heading back.